Welcome back. We just finished talking with Dr. Sternhardt here in Teak Hall, and he ran off with the relic we found inside the temple. He called it a world stone, I believe. However, this trip wasn't a complete loss. We also got another orichalcum bead, which could come in handy, and we learned the name of the Lost Dialogue of Plato, the Hermocrates.
Let's find the airport.
Now we have another lead, Mr. Costa here in the Azores, but before I go there, I'm going to go back to Iceland to see how our friend Dr. Heimdall is doing with that eel figurine that he was trying to get out of the ice. Old dig site. Is there ever such a thing as a new dig site? What happened here? Frozen Heimdall.
Too bad. He's frozen solid. A little too dedicated to his work, I guess.
Aww. I hope it wasn't the Nazis who came by and shot him with some death ray or something. You never know with them. But at least he was able to make some progress on this before he died, because it seems like the head of the eel has now come out of the ice.
It looks like a bead would fit in the eel's mouth.
And thankfully we've got a bead.
It fits perfectly. Whoa!
Look, it melted itself right out of the ice.
Wow. So it seems like these orichalcum beads heat up whatever they fit into. Well, let's go ahead and grab that. We are trying to find Atlantis after all, so anything associated with it is certainly helpful. Farewell, Dr. Heimdall. It was good knowing you, man.
Let's head for the airport.
But right now we need to meet with Mr. Costa here in the Azores. So let's see if he knows anything about the Lost Dialogue. Nice little villa. I like it. I'm assuming we're coming in on that plane that just landed there. Though if that is the case, that's some awfully fast transportation.
This is his house?
This is it.
Great, let's go ahead and knock, which, oddly enough, you have to use the open command to knock, which I find kind of a little weird, but I guess it makes sense.
Mr. Costa?
Pipe down, I'm coming.
Be firm, but polite.
I suppose you're selling something. If it's not a priceless artifact, I don't want it.
I hear you know something about Plato's Lost Dialogue.
Maybe so, maybe no. Who are you?
So basically, maybe yes.
I'm a fellow believer.
Is that right? Do you know where Atlantis is?
Oh no, that's why I'm asking you.
I asked you first.
Come closer, boy, and I'll tell you. You're standing on it.
Here in the Azores?
The Azores?
No one believes me. That hurts.
Nice going, Indy. I could have done better.
Yeah, sure.
No matter what you say, he's always going to turn you down, so let's take up Sophia on her offer.
Sophia?
Yes?
It took me a little while to figure this out, but you can actually switch roles and play out Sophia here.
Here, you talk to the man.
My pleasure.
So now we're in control of Sophia. You'll notice that the color of our of the text here that's lists the commands and whatnot has changed, and we've got a different inventory that just has the necklace.
Mr. Costa!
Keep your shirt on.
He's a touchy old bird.
Watch and learn, Dr. Jones.
Well, hello, beautiful.
Well, it seems like he's willing to talk to Sophia a little bit more.
I hope my friend didn't pester you too much.
He's a friend of yours? Well, no, he didn't pester me that much.
Actually, he's named after the family dog.
Sophia.
See?
I see.
I'm going to turn that into a running gag.
What can you tell us about Plato's Lost Dialogue?
What do you want to know?
Do you have it?
Nope,
Have you read it?
nope.
Do you know what's in it?
Not exactly.
Can you get it for me?
Sorry.
So how can we find it?
Do you know where we could find it?
Well now, that depends. I might trade the information for a rare Atlantean artifact, such as a certain necklace I've heard about.
I'll never trade away my necklace.
Well then, if that's how you feel, surprise me.
So she's not going to trade in her necklace, so we are going to need to give him another Atlantean artifact. Now this part of the game really stumped me because I did not think about going back to Iceland when I first played the game, at least not for a while. I did when I was stuck in Tikal, but by the time I finished Tikal I came here and I thought that maybe that elephant trunk thing would suffice as an Atlantean artifact. Well, that didn't work. Then I thought, well, maybe the Orichalcum bead would work. Well, no, he didn't want that either. Instead, what you have to give him is the eel figurine, and the ability to get it, and to have Heimdall frozen solid there, happens only after you finish the temple, and I believe after you get the bead in Tikal. So it took me a little while to figure that out when I first played the game.
Would you do business with my friend here?
Madam, I'll do business with anyone.
Thanks for your help. Goodbye for now.
At your command, madam.
Even though he agreed to do business
Don't
with
be
Indy,
a stranger now.
he just goes right back
He's
inside.
a sweet old guy.
Trade, huh?
Which I guess is the game's way of allowing you to get the artifact if you don't have it, but still, it does feel a little bit awkward.
Indy,
Yes?
I think you better take over.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Mr. Costa?
You again? What do you want?
And he goes back to being unfriendly again.
Let's talk about a trade.
Okay, what you got?
Now, of course, these things aren't going to work on him, but we do have the genuine artifacts. Literally.
I'm offering this mysterious eel figurine.
Now that looks interesting. You've got a deal, mister. Now listen carefully. I don't know exactly where to find it, but the Lost Dialogue of Plato is in the Ward collection. Got that?
I think so. The Ward collection.
Very good. Nice doing business with you.
The Ward collection? You know something, Sophia? I believe Barnet College owns the Ward collection.
Great! A research laboratory somewhere in Germany.
Dr. Uberman, fantastic news. Kerner, at last! See what Herr Jones has kindly provided. What on earth? Isn't it amazing? You fool! You come back to show me this prehistoric knick-knack? Herr Doctor, I believe this knick-knack, as you call it, comes from the Lost City. Then we have failed! I see no evidence here of some magical metal Plato called orichalcum. Look here, concealed in the base is a small shiny bead. And it glitters like fire, exactly as Plato described. It's my guess we found the treasure we seek. I never guess. We must test.
Oh man.
My God.
Also, I just realized I said the genuine artifact. I meant the genuine article.
We've done it! The energy of uranium without any radioactivity. And those smug American scientists know nothing. That gives me an idea. Suppose I place the bead inside the statue's open mouth.
Oh man. Look at it go. Woo! Wow.
You saw that? Think of trucks powered by these beads. Think of tanks. Think of airplanes. Use your imagination, Colonel. Think big like the Americans. Think of bombs.
I'm sorry, I love that scene. I think it's hilarious. It's so overdramatic, and I absolutely love it. Ah, good old Barnett College. Good to be back here again.
So why are you dragging me in here?
Plato's Lost Dialogue should be here somewhere.
Need some help?
You can't go with me. You don't have tenure.
Fine, rub my nose in it. I'll meet you in your office.
Well, we're actually going to go to Indy's office first, because I need to pick up something there. Now, the Lost Dialogue of Plato is going to be hidden in a random location each time you play the game. And I believe it changes with each playthrough. And along with that, the name of the collection that Barnett College has, that houses the Lost Dialogue, changes with each playthrough. And there are more names than there are...
Well, don't just stand there. Go find Plato's Lost Dialogue.
We are. There are more names than there are locations, so there are no corresponding names that go with locations and whatnot.
Phew. Guess I should have cleaned it out.
Now, I'm going to pick up items that will help us find the Lost Dialogue in all of the locations. I'll show you where they all are before we actually grab it. Let's pick up this jar in here.
I guess it's mayonnaise, but it looks like used motor oil.
But in order to do that, we're going to need to get a whole bunch of items from around the school. And I believe that's the only one we'll need from the office. Everything else is over here at Caswell Hall, including the dialogue itself. All three of the locations are in this area. So the first place I'm going to go is down to the furnace room where we ultimately landed after the opening credits. So let's go downstairs, because I want to pick up that dirty rag here, as well as the coal. Pick up, there we go, I was looking for that. And now let's head up to the library, because there's another couple of things that we need up from up there.
It's an old lecture hall desk, complete with a wad of gum, I'll bet.
And there is a wad of gum here. Let's go and pick it up.
It sure is gooey.
Alright, well, let's go up to the attic area that we started in.
A fine example of braided hemp.
Or, wait a minute, use rope, not pick up rope. Silly me. Now up here, there's an arrowhead here on the shelves that we need. And for one of the locations, you'll need to go up to the very top to get something from the very first room where we started. The problem, though, is that we can't get up there because there's no rope or anything that we can use to climb. However, there's a totem pole here nearby. Let's see if we can pull it that way.
The floor isn't slippery enough. It won't move.
Well, let's see if our jar of mayonnaise can, or motor oil stuff can help with that. Gloop! That should do the trick. There we go. Let's pull it one more time. Alright, that should do nicely. Now, I believe if the dialogue is inside the location down below us in the preceding room, there will be something inside this urn that we saw earlier.
Feels like there's something loose in here. A key?
Great, okay, so that means that the dialogue is just downstairs. So now I know where it's at, and I'll save that area for last, then. So let's go ahead and go down the hole. Because now we got everything we need to go to the other locations as well. So I'm going to come back here in just a little bit. Now, one of the locations that you can find the Lost Dialogue in is inside this bookcase that fell on Indy earlier. Let's see if we can open it up.
It doesn't seem to open.
Oop, I was clicking on the screw.
The back of the bookcase is too securely fastened to open.
So that's not going to work. However, we can try to unscrew the screws here. But for the great adventurer that Indy is, for all the adventuring that he does, for whatever reason, he does not have a screwdriver in his office. So we're going to need to improvise here. The good news is that we've got an arrowhead here, so let's use that on the screws.
Ouch! The screw came out, but that hurt.
Now, because it hurt Indy, we're going to need to find an alternate way to use the arrowhead on the other ones. Thankfully, we can use the dirty rag to wrap the arrowhead so we can use it safely. And I believe that's the first time we've used an item on another item, which is kind of interesting.
It's unscrewed.
Alright, 2 down, 3 to go.
It's unscrewed.
It's unscrewed.
It's unscrewed.
Alright, let's check this out.
Here it is, the Lost Dialogue of Plato.
Oh! It was in there. Okay, never mind. Okay, so it's actually inside the bookcase. I thought the key appeared only when it was inside the chest up here. Alright, well, there's a dusty old chest down, or up there in the attic area, and sometimes the Lost Dialogue can be there as well. But it's not this time, it's in the bookcase. Let me show you where the other areas were. Thankfully, there's not a cutscene that instantly transports Indy back to the office. Once you find the Lost Dialogues, you're free to roam around all you want. The other location that it can be in is inside the room with the cat figurines, but we can only access that via the coal chute. Now, as Indy remarked at the beginning of the game, the chute is too slippery to walk back up. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to use the gum on the chute.
I think I'll stick this on my shoes for traction.
Or on Indy's shoes, rather.
What do you know? The gum works!
Hey, sometimes being an adventurer is all about improvising, right? Now, what's really interesting is that there's actually an alternate way to get the Lost Dialogue, and that is to use the lump of coal on the lone book that's up here.
Oops, the lump of coal broke into a billion useless pieces.
I believe if we didn't grab it from downstairs already, then that would have knocked the dialogue down here where we could get it. So it's nice that there are 2 different ways to do that. However, the other location is inside the one of the cat figurines here.
It's made out of wax.
And one of these is made out of wax. The other ones are you can't pick up. But in order to actually get access to what's inside,
It doesn't seem to open.
we're going to need to melt the cat. The good news is that we've got a furnace down here in which we can do that.
A cat idol. But
Oops.
unlike the others, it's made of wax.
Meant to use it on the furnace.
Well, it melted.
Unfortunately, that didn't give us anything useful. But sometimes it will. Anyway, those are the 3 locations. Like I said, they're completely random, but now you know how to get to any one of them should you ever find the Lost Dialogue in a location other than the bookshelf. But now that we've got it, let's go and look at it. Now, the information inside the Lost Dialogue will be random with each playthrough, and I'll get to how it's relevant as we progress further into the game. But there's information here about Atlantis. We'll read it out loud here later on, but it's pretty interesting. We'll check it out here in a little while, though.
I got it. I found Plato's Lost Dialogue.
Really?
Our jungle friend Sternhardt is quite the scholar.
Let me see.
I think... Wait a minute, I think she'll comment on things here. Or maybe it's just an opportunity for the game to force you to look at it. At any rate, we'll look at it here in more detail here in a little while.
I don't see how this will help us find Atlantis.
Isn't it obvious?
No, it's much too vague. Our only hope is supernatural inspiration.
You mean your old pal Nurab Sal?
If I can make contact, yes. Where's my spirit guide when I need him?
Come on, Sophia. The answer's in the book, not outer space.
So he got his dates mixed up. Why is that so important?
Now, the book mentions a numbering error by Plato, and as such, the distances in the book could also be wrong as well.
Plato's error means distances could also be wrong.
So what if they are?
If Plato is right, Atlantis is in the Mediterranean.
You mean 300 miles from Greece instead of 3,000?
Yes, the cradle of civilization.
You could be right. He once told me he came from the middle of the world. That's what Mediterranean means.
Good old Nurab Sal. I'm starting to like him.
Wait, quiet. I think I'm getting something.
Uh-oh.
That orichalcum sure is spooky stuff.
Indeed.
Spooky? Haven't you learned anything? Among the artifacts that Kerner stole was a small stone disc with a hole in it. I'm sure it was one of the 3 stones mentioned in Plato's book. And I didn't find it. I bought it from Omar al-Jabbar in Algiers.
I wonder if one of the other 3 stones is the one that Sternhardt ran off with.
Haven't we talked to enough of these nutcases?
Or was it Alain Trottier in Monte Carlo? Either way, Algiers or Monte Carlo. This much I do know. You'll need all 3 stones if you want to find Atlantis.
Aha. Alright, so we've now got another objective.
How will I find Trottier and Al-Jabbar?
Not so fast. First, I'm going to tell your fortune. Look into my eyes. Deep into my eyes. For Pete's sake, I'm not going to hurt you. Now hold still. You are a remarkable man, Dr. Jones. You possess great strength of character. You are resourceful, always eager to solve life's deepest puzzles. I could never follow the thoughts of your maze-like mind, so I can't follow you along the twisting path that leads to Atlantis.
Now, this is the point of the game that I mentioned earlier where we need to choose what mid-game path we're going to pursue. And what Sophia told us was the recommendation that I mentioned earlier that's contingent on how you get into the theater. And since we took the brain or wits path, then she recommends that for us. However, I do intend to actually show all 3 paths here as part of the LP. And in order to do that, I'm actually going to upload separate videos for each one. You may have noticed at this point that I've actually had 3 playlists that I've been uploading the videos that I've produced so far into. And that's because I do intend to have 3 different playlists, one for each path in the end. Now, the way this will work is that I'll upload a new video for each path per day, and it will have it will continue the numbering system that I've established already. Since this is part 4, then the next one will be part 5, but at the end of each part 5 video there will be a letter that denotes which path I'm on. The T videos will be for the team path in which Sophia goes with us. The W path will be for the wits path, the one that involves a lot of puzzles, and the F path will be for the fists path. And that, yes, that definitely spells WTF. So, if you do want to view a certain path, then click on the appropriate annotation here at the end of this video, and I will see you in the next one.